This is Tennessee fishing, the way a lot of us started out. No boat, not much equipment, just walking down the creek and wetting a line.
No motor, your feet or your kayak or your canoe, and I really like this. It's been the kind of fish that I've loved all my life. This kind of fishing, it's been my favorite, and I hope it gets more people out because they'll love the streams if they get out in them in the small rivers.
Well, I'm so glad I got this big goofy plastic board I get to carry around. Now, it is a competition, so we're carrying the tournament measuring board so we can take official pictures of our fish. But we have to catch them first. Kevin Van Dam and I have one thing in common. We both like to fish. We're on a small river just outside of Nashville, a great little stream full of aquatic life. Today, we're looking for smallmouth bass. Usually, a little plastic worm or anything that looks like a crayfish is pretty much the lure to use on this kind of water. River smallies like to hide around the edges of current and let their food come to them, so that's where we're looking. Anything in a river, its number one goal is maximum food for minimum effort. So it's going to hide in a spot where it can be just outside the current, facing upstream most of the time, and the food's going to be all around it coming downstream. You know, so much in these rivers, they don't want to get in a big dead spot where they have to go chase the food down. They prefer to have it come out, and you know, they'll get out on the gravel bars and they'll pick up crawfish or chase a school of minnows. But if he can hide and then have the minnows come by him, so much the better. But so far, they're not biting, at least not the big ones. And we have a pretty good idea why, or at least a good excuse. This gravel bar we're walking on used to be a deep hole until high water came in and moved everything around. So even though I've been here many times before, today it's almost like fishing a brand new river. No, bigger, not big, and he doesn't count. He's a rock bass.
And we've only been here 30 minutes or so, but this is such a good river. Look at him. He's gonna go hop to the hoe. He knows the first one to the hoe catches a fish. So he's probably 500 yards from here already, talking to himself.
Come on, fishy, fishy in the brook.
To win this thing, you probably need a bunch of 16 or 17 inchers, and we feel like we can do that, but I'm starting to wonder. Anyway, this is my little box, and then I got a bag full of stuff with creek things, and this is what Chris is using in another color. It's my favorite all-time Charlie Brewer worm. Having the river to ourselves is one of the best things about this tournament. We don't even know where our competition is. Anything back in there? There's a lot of flowing water around Middle Tennessee, and that means there's room for everyone.
You know, in lakes you see a lot of party boats and jet skis, and it's the same thing every time. It's the same looking point, the same dock you always fish, the same thing. On rivers, especially here in Tennessee, it's so big, you couldn't cover all the river miles in your lifetime. So every time if you want to go to a new stretch of river, you can do it. And so it's always new, always fresh. It brings out the little kid in you, like you're exploring Tennessee's wild side, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Don't need the measuring board. Now this is more like it. That's a pretty fish. All right, buddy. You ready? Look at those spots. Woo, I'm gone. All I can say is it feels fantastic to finally put something in the board that's respectable.
I love this right here. They're so strong in the creeks and the streams. They don't have to be a real big fish. You can catch fish like this and bigger or even smaller. They're so much fun.
Whenever we catch a good one, we measure it, take a picture, and put it back. Then you bring in your camera card at the end of the day and add up your best 4 fish. Thank you, Mr. Fish. It's a largemouth, but it's a fish. I hate to do it, Doug, but I'm gonna have to measure it. You know, the neat thing about river fishing is, although today I'm carrying a lot of lures, it doesn't take a lot. You can buy 2 or 3 packs of grubs, soft plastics, some hooks, get yourself an old pair of tennis shoes and go out and fish the river. Why don't you and Fido stay on that side and I'll fish?
I'll try to keep Fido over here because he ain't going anywhere.
You just can't beat a day of wade fishing, even if you pick up a new friend along the way. Come here, dog. What we liked most, though, was it didn't feel like a competition. If you'd have seen us on the river that day, you wouldn't have known we were even in a tournament. But you might have said, those guys look like they're having a great time. And that's really what it's all about. I'm Chris Nischan on Tennessee's Wild Side.